Aloha everyone, my name is Mark, and in this video I'm going to share why you need a user persona, what it is, and how to make one in just 3 steps, answering 9 simple questions. Are you ready? Let's go! I mentioned user personas in my last video where I shared my entire 4-step framework for web design. Click on the card right there to watch it. But you may have wondered what exactly it is and why you would want to make one in the first place. Well, if you're building a website for yourself or for a client, how do you know who the ideal audience or customer for that website is? And if you don't know who the website is supposed to help, then how do you figure out the right structure or features that will be useful to them? Well, that is what a user persona is for, and today you're going to learn a simple 3-step process to craft a user persona and why making a user persona can save you countless hours when building a website. This video is part 1, and next week in part 2, I'm also going to show you how I would design a user persona in Adobe XD. Hey, if you're new to the channel and don't know who I am, my name is Mark Moran, and I've been a web designer for over 20 years. And I also teach web design at the University of Hawaii, West Oahu. And Akamai Websites is where I help new and aspiring web designers level up their professional and freelancing game with tips, techniques, and tutorials on how to present yourself as a pro web designer. And nothing says pro more than really getting a strong handle on the user persona for a website you're building. But what is a user persona? Well, the simple answer is that it is a description of an audience archetype that allows you to make intelligent decisions about how the website will be built, designed, and used. Some people call them avatars or ideal customers or audience members, but it all boils down to really understanding the segment of the audience for a service or product and identifying their needs, motivations, and goals. There are a few things worth mentioning. Oftentimes, there is more than one given persona for a given project, and that's fine. Websites are often a bit more niched down, but that isn't always the case, and you may find you need to do more than one. You'll also notice that personas are done a lot in the app development world, but they are still extremely helpful for website development too. Even if you're a freelancer, it helps your client get on the same page. It answers the question, who are we designing for? And serves as a guidepost so you always know in which direction the website design is going. Another important thing to keep in mind is the distinction between a marketing target audience or segment and a user persona. In marketing, they tend to look at just the demographics of their target market. Things like income, profession, family structure, residence type, age, etc. But a user persona is not just demographics. It also includes psychographics, their behaviors, attitudes, goals, needs, habits, and an overall more holistic view of their life. What is their life? Who are they really? And not just the what, but it's also the why. A lot of clients might think that a user persona isn't necessary or that what they offer is for everyone. Well, everyone and no one are just 2 sides of the same coin. And if you don't have a clear vision of the true customer, then the business just might be shooting themselves in the foot. It isn't about billing someone to come up with a nice looking infographic, but it's really about helping to save time and money. It is a tool to keep everyone focused on the user, that person, and make it easier to decide which features and content to use. It can guide the visual style and presentation of the website so that it resonates with the persona and is also true to the brand identity for the website, because a brand is really just a message, and if you want to communicate a message, you have to know who the message is for. So, what are the elements of a user persona? Well, there is not just one way to build it. It can be super simple or super complex, but the main thing you're trying to answer is, does this provide a cohesive picture of the person I'm designing a website for? You're trying to create a thorough picture of this persona, so you only need as much or as little information as will help you achieve that goal. Having said that, most user personas will provide a few key items to help you flesh out that picture. Information on demographics, psychographics, needs, goals, motivations, environments, preferences, and the scenario of how they interact with the website or brand. Those are all common elements. Okay, so now you know what a user persona is and why it's important. Great. But how do you make one? Well, I have a 3-step process that I use to come up with a user persona, and I'm going to share it with you while crafting a persona for the soon-to-be redesigned, Akamai website, AW site. Of course, there are other ways and means to make a user persona, but this is an easy and quick process for those who aren't full-fledged UX professionals, but still need to find their ideal website audience member. If you do want to go down the UX rabbit hole, then I'll share some links in the description of a few UX professionals who share their process, so check those out down below. I also want to mention that the strength of your user persona increases dramatically with some real-world research. If you can, talk to real website users or customers. This can be through survey forms, case studies, focus groups, or one-on-one interviews, online or in person. Of course, not everyone has the time or bandwidth for this, but it's super helpful. And if you can't do it, just do the best you can by talking to your client or the website stakeholders. I guess the most important thing is to get a good grasp on their biggest pain point and how the website can help them. Because at the end of the day, you're looking for information that serves a design purpose. Right. So each of my 3-step processes involves answering 3 questions in each part for a total of 9 questions altogether. 3 times 3, yeah. In step 1, you'll be asking 3 questions to the client or website stakeholders. Question 1, what is the purpose of the website? And this is about understanding the true purpose of the website. What are they trying to achieve with the web design project? I remember an example that Troy Dean from WP Elevation used to say quite often about an accountant, I think it was, who wanted a new website. And they said it was because they needed a new look. But through probing, Troy found out that they actually were hoping to sell their business and needed to present a better look for potential buyers. Well, that is a very different purpose than they first stated. But knowing that meant Troy could actually build a website that fulfilled their true needs. For Akamai websites, the purpose is twofold. First, the more altruistic purpose, which is to help people get over the hump from design amateur to design professional and share my experience and expertise in that space. And on the more selfish side, it's to build a brand identity, to share web design that can hopefully eventually provide opportunities for revenue or networking or personal brand development. Question 2, what is the goal of the website? Now, a goal is different than a purpose. A purpose is the why, but a goal is the what. Are the goals related to sales or revenue, building a base of followers, to entertain X number of people, to spread information about ABC product, to spread an ideology, or to promote an event? The goal of the AW website, Akamai website, is to promote this YouTube channel, but also have a place where people can get resources or materials related to what I share here. I'd also like to build an email list and promote my social media channels. Speaking of social media channels, be sure to check me out on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, each with the username Akamai websites, all one word together. Links are in the description below. Question 3. What does the website offer to achieve these goals? Do they have articles or blogs, content, goods, information, entertainment, opt-in offers, downloadables? With the Akamai website site, I like to think I provide a unique perspective on web design. Every designer has a different viewpoint, and mine is going to be a bit different than the next person. I also want to provide resources to help new and aspiring designers build a sustainable business for themselves, and share education and training that gives them the knowledge they need to build a career as a professional web designer. Okay, so that is step 1, questions for your client or the website stakeholder. Step 2 are 3 questions you need to answer about the customers and audience for the website. Question 1, who benefits the most from what the website offers? The key here is to be specific. Everyone benefits means you aren't going to resonate with anyone, so think carefully about who the ideal customer or audience for the website is. As I mentioned before, your client or the stakeholders will be able to help you with this, and combined with any real-world research you can conduct, it should help give a good idea of who these people are. I did quite a bit of brainstorming about the AW website and my YouTube channel, and combined with my experience teaching web design at the university, I came up with a few specific psychographics about the ideal persona for AW. First, it is someone who hasn't quite made the leap from amateur to pro. They might have skills, but they don't know how to turn them into an actual profession. Or they might be general designers who are looking to transition into web design and would like a good introduction on how to turn their design ideas into actual living, breathing websites that they could sell to clients. Most likely it's someone who is younger since they're still working on coming across as a professional, possibly a fresh college graduate or someone about to leave school. Question 2. What are their goals related to this topic? This means figuring out what they are hoping to achieve. So for example, if you're building a website for a car mechanic and the ideal customer was a busy parent who didn't have time to spend waiting for her or his car to be worked on, then their goal might be to find a mechanic with a fast turnaround time or to get their car fixed without having to drop it off at the shop. I asked some people I knew who fit my user persona for the first question and asked them what their goals were. Many talked about wanting to learn a skill that would allow them to make a living. They wanted a map to follow to a specific professional destination. Many of them were also hesitant about becoming full-on front-end developers and just wanted a way to learn how to build a website without knowing everything about code. So you can see exactly where the Akamai Websites tagline came from. I help new and aspiring web designers level up their professional and freelancing game. I asked my ideal audience member what their goals were and crafted it based on that. Question 3. What are the barriers to that goal that the client or stakeholder's website can solve? So the persona's got problems and the website's got answers, hopefully. In the previous example with the mechanic, maybe they have a new service that gives the persona a loaner car. Or maybe they can go to the person's house to do a diagnostic for them and let them know what is needed to be done. In my case with Akamai Websites, the barriers to their goal of being a professional or freelance web designer was a lack of experience to know what being a professional even meant. They didn't have that technical knowledge, so step-by-step tutorials would help them know how to position themselves with both the skills to build a website with minimal code, as well as a framework for how to work with clients. They were looking for that missing piece of the pro designer puzzle. Fortunately, with my 23 plus years of experience making websites for clients all around the world, this is one thing I can definitely help them with. Plus, I specialize in building WordPress sites and I've built some effective systems for working with clients, and I would love to share that with new and upcoming web designers. So that was the second part of building the user persona. 3 questions to help you find out more details about who the ideal website visitor is, what they want, and how you can help them get it. Part 3 is diving a bit deeper into the psychographics of this person and better understanding their story. And again, we have 3 questions to ask so you can uncover these details. Question 1. What is their background? Here we're looking for their personal biography, not just demographics, but a bit about their personal history. What led them to where they are? What's motivated their behavior and shaped their personality? A part of this process is to come up with a name and an alliterative title. It makes them easy to remember. So my persona for Akamai Websites is Sammy the student. He is a young man who loves learning design but wants to learn more about websites. I worked out a backstory for this person too, about their hobbies, interests, and likes and dislikes. You'll see a lot more of those next week when I show you how I design their user persona in Adobe XD. So be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn off notifications if you want to get all that goodness. Question 2. What is their environment? Environment doesn't just mean their location, but it is their personal, emotional, and mental environment. What is their family like? Do they work? Do they go to school? Who are their friends? What technology do they have access to? Also their physical location, where do they live and hang out? And perhaps most importantly, how do they access the web? Knowing their browsing behavior is a key factor in knowing how to design and build your website. With Sammy the student, he lives with his family so he can help take care of his younger siblings and save money before moving out. He graduated a couple years ago from a small liberal arts college with a degree in visual design and recently landed a job as an entry-level graphic designer creating advertising banners for a local marketing agency. Now that isn't what he wants to do long-term, but it is at least doing a job doing design while he figures out what his next steps are. And in his free time, he likes to take his MacBook Pro to his favorite coffee shop, put on his big headphones, and work on learning new skills or playing video games or watching anime or just hanging out with a small group of friends. So you can get a really clear picture of who this person is, and it helps me figure out how to connect with and communicate to this specific persona. If I wanted to write an email to Sammy, I would have a very clear idea of how to present myself in a way that resonates with him. Question 3. What is their scenario? This means the when, where, how, and what of them being on the website that you're building. What brought them there? What are they looking for? I am picturing that Sammy was sitting at the cafe listening to some K-pop and lo-fi beats and started searching for information on learning web design. Then he came across my website and found a blog post about learning web design and how to work with clients. And he's recently been thinking about how to work with clients because in his current job, he never has that opportunity. Also, his uncle has been pestering him to help design a website, not realizing that that's not the kind of design he does. But it got him curious, just how hard would it be to build one? And after checking out the AW website, he started getting excited about the possibilities of learning web design and acquiring a framework for how to work with clients, and started watching some of these videos on the YouTube channel. So you can see how answering these 9 questions help you really focus on exactly who you're building a website for. From the beginning to now, you gained a much deeper understanding of who Akamai Websites is built for. And you know, if this sounds like you, now you know why. So let's recap what we learned. No, wait, that'll take too long. Let's sum up.
Let me explain. No, there is too much. Let me sum up.
First, we learned what a user persona is and why it is important to your web design process. We also learned the 3-step process and 9 questions you need to ask to discover the user persona you need for your website. Your question for today is, do you use user personas in your own practice? Have you ever tried making them? If so, what's your process? I would love to learn more about your experiences and what you found helpful in this video that you might be able to use with your next web design project. Speaking of next time, I'm going to take it one step further and show you exactly how I would design a user persona in Adobe XD to present for a client. So don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell notification. Oh, and be sure to follow us on social media at Akamai Websites, all one word. If you like what you learned today, then be sure and smash, is that what the kids say these days? Smash the like button? Yeah, do that. What's that? Oh, yes. By the way, there is a time code below, so if you need to go to any specific part of this process, there should be a little chapters where you can click directly on them. Have a wonderful day. Thanks again for being here. And until next time, stay Akamai.